give you attendance credit as well. Had some great feedback about the installation last night, or excuse me, early this morning, and definitely always appreciate hearing that as well. Well, let's go ahead and officially get started. So welcome everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It's really great to be together again. I know I was having my amazing co-host Jose yesterday leading the call, but I was there with you all. It is great to see everyone's faces. You have made it through the install process, and it's now time to, what I say, celebrate, because you have that new recycler. It's best in class with cutting edge technology, really customized to support your club needs. Now, some of you may still be at different steps of that post-install checklist, and that's okay. Just ensure you complete all of those steps before you leave this morning. Now, just like last night, we are being joined by our amazing home office treasury team. Good morning, Hank, and good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
Now, I also have my co-host today. You all know him, Jose. He will be dropping golden nuggets of information in the chat box, as well as answering questions that you may have in there. Now, during today's session, you will experience firsthand how your new recycler is faster, more reliable, and designed for maximum efficiency. Now, of course, you're not alone in this process. Our team is here to support you and continue to provide support every step of the way. This is really an exciting time, and this upgrade is truly a game changer. It's designed to make your work easier, more efficient, and give you more time on the club with your customers. As we move through today's session, many of your questions will be answered along the way. However, if you still need additional support, we encourage you to stay on at the end of the call to ask questions, share concerns during our Q&A. You also have the opportunity to drop your questions in the chat. Of course, we have all the resource documents and support available to you to ensure that you guys are well equipped. Now, to ensure that we are not missing anyone, I'm going to do a quick attendance check. If we have missed you and I call out your club, my apologies. Oh, wonderful. Looks like we have a full house. Everyone is here in attendance. Now, on this call, we are going to dive into the inner workings of the new recycler and some process changes. If you came in this morning and you don't have access to that document link, my co-host Jose has dropped that information in the chat box. We will be able to go with that document as we're going through the new steps. Our agenda is also going to include an overview of the device. We will then move into a review of the new coin process, the supplies that you will be using, and then we're going to move on to the process updates. We will have a Q&A at the end of the call. Now, as an overview of your new recycler, it does have that great continuous feed feature, which means you can continue to load cash into the recycler and do not have to wait for those small little baby stacks before you can load again. You can load about 300 notes per stack. I'm sure all of you saw this great feature as you were loading cash in this morning. And with that being said, when doing larger replenishments, it is a good idea to pause once in a while just to ensure that you are not overfilling a cassette. And when it comes to auditing the recycler cassettes, well, here's more of that cutting edge technology I mentioned. You no longer have to remove the cassette, remove the cash, and feed it back in. It actually does the audit automatically. You do not have to perform nor force an audit any longer. Anytime a cassette is removed and opened, or the recycler knows something is off, the recycler will automatically audit itself. Now, please keep in mind how long the audit takes will depend on how full your cassettes are. Now, the recycler will give you an estimated time on the screen for it to complete the audit. Now, your device has one large overflow cassette. You should have received larger deposit bags than you're used to. We want to ensure that all of your cash fits into one bag. Now, if it will fit into your normal LL deposit bags, you can continue to utilize them as well. If there's a large amount to deposit, then that's when you'll use the extra large deposit bags. And we'll go over more of that information later on in the call. Now, your recycler is customized for your club's cash needs. So most stores will have a split cassette in the new device. A split cassette is used for stores that would benefit from having an extra of a particular denomination, but does not need a full cassette of that capacity based on your usage. For example, if your club goes through particular amount of a lot of ones, you'll have a full cassette of ones, and then a split cassette of ones, and another denomination that you use less of. Speaking of your cassettes, you will no longer have a recycling cassette for 100s. Now, of course, you can still take them from your customers and even give them out as change. Any 100s you have in your register at the time of till check-in will go to the deposit cassette, just like 10s currently do. And we have heard your concerns about those overnight cash scams, and for your safety, we have put in a new deposit mode only process. Now, this will occur from midnight to 4 a.m. Your cash recycler will no longer allow associates to remove cash for any reason. Now, you will be allowed to put money in, such as doing registered check-ins or pickups, but you will not be able to remove cash from your recycler. Even if you experience a jam, you will not be able to correct that until 4 a.m. Again, this is in a response to the increased overnight cash scams impacting your safety and increasing cash losses. Now, your reject process will only be done on carrier days or when the recycler prompts you, but not every day. I know some of you said, what? And shook your head. Again, that reject process will only be done on carrier days or when the recycler prompts you, but not every day. Only a level 7 can do the process. Now, there is no physical reject cassette that needs to be opened. It is a process that you will perform through the on-screen commands. So on your known carrier days, you'll log into the recycler. You'll simply select the status button, then select the note recycler button. There will be a final button that says empty reject. When you select that button, you really want to make sure you're not leaning up against the device because you may block the small flat door in front of the unit. That door does have to open for you to retrieve any notes that may be in that reject area. You'll take those notes out and feed them back into the device. If that small flat door opens, but there are no notes in the area, in either case, you would just simply close the door. Now, if that appears to happen quite often, there may just be some debris or dust from all the notes running through. You'll simply take a dry microfiber cloth and just clean the sensor areas. Now, you're going to see a lot more about this in the access point videos, and the links have already been placed in the chat box by my co-host, Jose. Now, maintaining your device will help keep your store expenses down, and a huge way you're going to do this is how you clean it. Instead of using the blow feature from the vacuum provided, you will only be using the vacuum feature. We do not want to blow debris further into the unit. Additionally, no other tool should be used on the device. No screwdrivers, no tweezers. Put those back in the toolbox and away from your new recycler. The only other tools you will need to use are your fingers. Additionally, we don't want to use any other cleaning methods like using canned air. There is a lot of sensitive areas in the recycler, so we should never be using canned air. A dry microfiber cloth is also recommended for cleaning. So let's just make some things clear. There's no canned air, there's no liquids, absolutely no science experiments. You will only be using the vacuum under the vacuum feature, a dry microfiber cloth, or your fingers to clean your recycler. We additionally do not want any food or drinks near the recycler. I know those Stanley cups say they're spill proof, but let's not take a chance. You would hate for a technician to come out if any liquid got in your new recycler. Now, failure to follow these instructions can have a negative impact on the cost of the store should a technician need to come out. As a reminder, you're only going to want to touch where you have green labeled access points or wheels. Again, only using our fingers, a dry microfiber cloth, and the vacuum you received with your new device. Now again, you'll see a lot more about those access points when you are playing those access points videos. Now, calling 700 Walmart has not changed. This still is the quickest way to get technical support. You will call 700 Walmart using your club phone in order for that call to connect. You will say cash recycler to contact us here at Deposita. Now, if your recycler is not in the same room as your club phone, that's no worries. The CSC representative can give you a call back on your cell phone, but we must initiate that call from the club phone. Of course, you all will be able to correct many errors on your own, so always do your own due diligence before calling the CSC. When you do reach a Deposita representative, please complete all of the required troubleshooting over the phone with them. We do have specific steps that we need to walk through before we escalate the concern. So even if you've done some of those steps on your own, ensure you walk through them with us again. Any refusal to troubleshoot with the Deposita rep will result in charges that will hit the club expenses. Also, if there's been an issue that's been resolved prior to the technician coming out, please remember to call back and cancel that dispatch tech to avoid being charged for the visit. This could cost your club up to $1,000 or more for not canceling. You will still continue to have preventative maintenance. This will happen twice a year, and a message will pop up on the idle screen on your recycler when this is going to occur. Again, those access points videos that I've mentioned a couple of times earlier are in the chat box. This is a great time for you and your team to walk through the new recycler. I will also be sending them out after the call in our group text chats. We are now going to review the virtual coins, the daily recycler functions, the process changes, and the supplies you will be using. Now, of course, starting today, your loose coin will stay in the register from this point on. And we're going to track that as a methodology called virtual coin. I know that was a little bit different, so let me repeat it just one more time. Your loose coin will stay on the club floor in your registers from this point on. Virtual means there's an amount of cash and coin that we are assuming has a value, but we are not physically counting it. Virtual funds are an expected amount until we physically count them, and then of course they become an actual amount. Well, we are doing the same thing with the loose coin in the registers. This will happen now by tracking how much change is going out to the customers. The recycler knows that you started with the $18 due to all the cash advances that you performed this morning. All of your cash transactions are sent to us by your registers, allowing
Someone will have to be there.
Sorry.
You can pause it, right?
If everyone could do me a quick favor and just do a mute check, I would greatly appreciate that. I know you guys have some things going on in the club while the call is going on. Now, of course, based on those $18 cash advance transactions that you guys performed this morning, all the recycler knows you're starting that off, and then all of your cash transactions ongoing will be sent to us by your registers, allowing the recycler to notify you when you need additional coins. Now, if you take raw coin without telling the recycler, you will trigger a new audit called a coin audit. Now this audit will appear first thing in the morning on your recycler. As you can see on the screenshot I am displaying to your left. Now to help you reduce the amount of coin audits, please be sure to coach your teams when you take roll coins to the tills to tell the recycler by doing a coin advance. If there are coin audits displayed on the recycler screen, you will simply go out to the register and hand count the coin. Write those amounts by denomination on a scratch piece of paper. Once it's counted, you will go back to the recycler and tell it the counts that you have. There is a new button on the recycler called Register Audit Rolled Coin. You'll type in either in by the dollar amount or by the counts that you have. Now I do want to let you know that although you complete these coin audits, they will not automatically drop off the recycler idle screen. They will actually stay up on the screen until the following morning. So a great best practice is to ensure you have a main point of communication, such as a whiteboard, a corkboard, or whatever it is that you're using in your office, to ensure you write down all of the coin audits that the recycler is requesting and either cross them out, mark them through, checkbox, or even a smiley face to identify that these coin audits have been complete. This will eliminate people doing the same work that has already been completed. Now, if you're doing this process correctly, as far as telling the recycler as a coin advance when you're taking roll coin, you really shouldn't have many coin audits to do, so there's no need for any machines like a TellerMate to help you count. If you are being asked to do a lot of coin audits, you again may just want to spend some time coaching your team on the new process until they understand if you take roll coin to your register, you must tell the recycler by doing a cash advance. Now for your coin storage, your roll coin is going to be received and stored securely in your external vaults. Now to help simplify those coin advances that I've been mentioning, you are going to remove a box of each coin denomination and place it near the recycler. You're going to use the colored coin trays as pictured here on the slide on the right hand side that you received from the installers to house this roll coin in. Again, it's only one denomination of each coin. If your recycler is out on the club floor, well, it has access to your associates and your members, just keep it stored somewhere out of sight of your customers. Again, we do not want to store this coin on top of the recycler due to the weight will cause damage. So find somewhere near the recycler, such as a table, a shelf, or a tray near the recycler. Now please remember that this coin, although not inside of your external vault, will be still a part of your external vault counts. Now for your daily processes, for your till checkout, remember we are no longer scanning that till barcode. Hopefully all of you have the opportunity to remove and deface those till barcodes from your till registers. All of those registered tills, will stay on the club floor throughout the next processes. You will only be using your register bags and scanning your register bag barcodes from this point moving forward. Once you scan that register barcode, that register bag does need to stay with that register for the day. So the best practice is to just simply leave it underneath the till. Your notes will dispense and roll coin will be recommended if the register is running low. You have the ability to accept or even edit the amounts, place that roll coin in the register bag, and again, advance coin as needed throughout the day. Now for your cash and coin advances, the cash advance is still the same for your new recycler. The difference is going to be those coin advances. You want to ensure you're always keying in the number of needed, simply grabbing those coins from the storage trays to ease that process of doing those coin advances. Now for your cash pickup, it is normal to your recycler. We still want to make sure we're checking the quality and the condition of our notes. removing any notes that are torn, taped, or have poor quality. Also, we want to remove any non-cash items from our note stack, shaking those notes away from the recycler to ensure there's no coins, paper clips, or any other foreign objects that are not in that note stack. We want to straighten that note stack out and then simply place it neatly on the cash acceptor. If you are doing a coin pickup, it can be manually counted and keyed in as a separate transaction and vault drop. For example, if a customer comes in and pays with $50 worth of quarters, it's not a normal process, right? And we don't want to have all of that change sitting in your register. So that's when you would perform a coin pickup, manually count those quarters out, and then simply key it in as a separate transaction and vault drop it. For your till check-in, remember we are leaving the coins secured in the registers on the club floor. We are bringing back our notes, our checks, our stamps, and any other media back to the cash recycler inside of that register bag. Now your process for your checks and other media has not changed. You will continue to process these daily. You'll scan the barcode and insert the notes into the recycler, ensuring that we are doing a till prep, checking the condition and quality of our notes. Now I will call out, because we're bringing everything back inside of that register bag, you'll most likely have more items stuck to the notes, right? Non-cash items such as checks or post-it notes or receipts. So we want to take special attention and a little bit more time to ensure you are going through the notes to remove any non-cash items to ensure that you avoid having any jams in your recycler. Now your new device has only one DNR, which no longer requires the separation of your notes, and of course, as we discussed, it has that great continuous feed option. There is no longer a need for a 3-action code at the time of checking in your tills. Now let's talk about some of the daily processes for your cash office. Of course, you're going to continue to do an external vault audit. However, it is going to have some updates to it. Those external vault values that you're used to auto-populating will no longer auto-populate. You will need to perform a full count of your external vault contents. We do advise doing this every morning before 9 a.m. You are going to be counting all of your rolled, and a small amount of loose coin will be included in your external vault count, as well as the coin sit out on those colored coin trays. Again, you will follow existing process of a daily external vault count. You do have a new external vault audit form that was emailed to all of the club managers' email. This is an Excel form, so it will need to be filled out on the computer, but I love that it has the formulas built in and it will do the math for you. Now please remember again, when you log in, the accounts will all be at 0. This is really to ensure that we are getting the most up-to-date and accurate information for your change orders. We also want to make sure that you key in the amounts into the correct denomination on the screen. As you can see, there's a place for 2s. We want to make sure you're not putting the 5s accidentally in the 2 denomination. Please make sure that your counts are correct while you are on the screen. Now, of course, for any errors, you are able to go back and fix the count, but I will let you know that you must re-enter all of the count, not just the count that you want to correct, because the denominations will always be set to 0. Again, if you do not do this, then it can have a negative impact on your change order. And you will have a small amount of loose coin, and I'm going to tell you in just a moment what that loose coin will be for. So to help you sort it out and make it easier to count, you can use it into till tray, Rubbermaid container, even Ziploc baggies. Something that's just going to help keep this loose coin sorted and easier to count. We'll also talk about an optional coin counting tray in just a moment. So why do you need a small amount of loose coin? Well, we want to make sure that your CFT outs and in process is the same as before, except the loose coin is going to come from your external vault. So as of this morning, if you have a CFT that you need to make sure you satisfy, you'll be able to break open a roll of coin to ensure that you can complete that CFT. Now, I caution you not to break open every single roll of coin, because remember, you will have to manually count that every single day. So just breaking open the applicable roll needed in order to satisfy that CFT. Now, speaking of those supplies that you're going to be using, you should have received 250 extra large deposit bags. Now, you receive such a large quantity because they are not ready to be ordered on GNFR just yet. All of your cash from your overflow cassette does need to go into one deposit bag. You should still use your regular deposit bags as long as all of the money will fit in. You also here featured your colored coin trays. These are going to be housed for your coin that's going to be near the recycler. Again, not on top, on a cart or a table. Just remember that this log coin is a part of your external vault audit, as well as remind everyone when they're removing coin from the trays to take out to the registers, they have to tell the recycler by doing that cash advance. Also showing here to your right is that optional coin counting tray. This is for that small amount of loose coin that you will keep in your external vault to help satisfy those CFTs. This optional coin counting tray will help keep that coin organized and easily sorted to count. My co-host will drop the links to order that coin optional tray from walmart.com. Now, until you receive them, you can continue to use an old till tray, a Rubbermaid container, even Ziploc baggies, anything that's going to keep that loose coin sorted by denomination and easy to count. Of course, we're no longer lugging those till trays back and forth. They are staying on the club floor. You will be using the register bags and scanning the register barcodes from this point forward. Now, your new device came with some new receipt paper. It does look a little bit different than your current receipt paper, but that's okay. Your current receipt paper will work in the new device, so there is absolutely no need to order anything new. Once you have used up all the rolls that came with the device, you can simply go back to using your current register receipt paper. Now, there are some process updates, and we want to make sure that we walk through them. Your empty reject area will be done on carrier days or when the recycler prompts you. Please remember, only a level 7 has the authentication to complete that empty reject. Now, your drop vault deposit will only need to be done on carrier days. Yes, I know many of your front-end team leads are used to doing this every day, but for the new process, it will only need to be done on carrier days. This really limits the amount of bags that your carrier is picking up. Your check deposits will still need to be done daily, so there's no change to this process. And remember, the only thing that should be in those drop box are cash and coin that you're sending back to the bank. For your external vault audit, remember that those values will no longer auto-populate. You will need to perform a full count of your external vault counts. Again, this is to ensure we get an accurate count for your change orders. All of your rolled and small amount of loose coin is going to be included in that count. It must be counted and entered in manually. Now, your reports have scaled back. I saw someone on the chat box looking for your reports, right? The reports that are no longer needed will not be listed on the recycler. This is really helping you conserve paper and a lot of that excess work that you were doing, only to place those reports that you printed out simply in a binder and never going back to using them again. So now only the applicable reports will now be displayed. You will no longer see the print daily reports button. All the information you will need will be on the end of day report that will run overnight. For any reason that you need to reprint it, you can do so from the reprint from journal option. And yes, that important netcast sales information will be on the end of day report, just about halfway down. Now, just to ensure that everyone was here, and we know that you guys were, thank you so much for all being here on time, allowing us to walk through with everyone all of the updated processes and information. Of course, we're not going to just leave you alone. You continue to have resources that are available to you. You have me. Yes, I am your resource. Continue to reach out to me via text or phone calls. I am here to support you. You also have that Next Gen Cash Recycler install guide. We're also going to follow up with you next Wednesday. We're going to have a post go live call from 12:30 to 2 p.m.